What's up, plant family? This is Jaleesa from Green Mable. Today we're going to talk about the 5 things to do when bringing a new plant home. The first thing you want to do when bringing a new plant home is you want to keep this little thing I call a plant stub. What I love about these plant stubs is they provide information that is helpful to the buyer of the plant. So it has the name of the plant. This is a prayer plant. It says where it's from Brazil. It says it likes low light. So let's look over onto the back, and it has more information. It has the light requirements. It says water when the soil feels dry. It explains that these can expect medium growth and to fertilize every 3 months. It also gives information about the temperature, ideal temperatures for this plant. And then there's a link to the website that has more information. The next thing you want to check for when bringing your plant home is to inspect the leaves pretty carefully. You want to look and see if you see any bug mites or any issues. This prayer plant looks really good. I inspected it really good at the store. I inspected it again when I got home. It looks like it is in very good condition. It looks very healthy, very lush. This is in a 4-inch pot, so this is a very small plant. I like to get small plants because the smaller they are, the more you can watch them grow and you can cultivate them into larger plants. Whereas larger plants, they're already big when you get them, and then you kind of want to keep them from getting like too big. So that is one of the things that I love about small plants. The third thing you want to do is decide on the best location in your home for the plant. So this is a low light plant. So currently I am in a south facing room. So this plant I want to keep a little bit far back from the window. I am in Texas. This direction of your home will depend on where you are in the US or in the world, wherever you may be. So in Texas, the way the sun goes over our area is it pretty much goes from east to west, with south direction pretty much being right above the homes here. Whereas up in a northern or further up north, let's say in Alabama, south facing rooms will give you a lot of light in the winter time, or anywhere up north, south facing rooms will give a lot of light in the winter time because of the direction of the sun and the position of the earth, the way that it tilts backwards. The sun is more prone to be in the south. Now in the summertime it is a little bit different, but here, like where I am, the position of the sun to the room, this room would be okay. So I would recommend a plant like this, a low light plant such as the prayer plant, to go in. You can go in a north facing room closer to the window, or in a south or west facing room. You want to put it back about I would say about 6 to 8 feet at least from the window, and definitely not in like the path of the light. So probably off to the side is good, or on the counter. If your kitchen is like, if the window is parallel to the counter in your kitchen, then you'll want to put it on the counter a little bit far back from the window. So the fourth thing you want to look for when getting your new plant into your home is to look at the roots. So this is a peacock prayer plant, I believe. It's one of the Calathea varieties. So I took a peek at these roots earlier and it was really root bound. So I have it in this outer pot because this is the pot that I'm going to put it in. It's currently in a 7-inch pan. It's currently in a 7-inch pot. So I'm going to pot it up a little bit to this 8-inch pot. So the next thing you want to look for at step 4 is to look at the roots. So you want to be really gentle with the plant, but try to be a little bit firm too and pull the roots out. And I did loosen this one earlier just so it wouldn't be too difficult for me to do this on camera. And oh wow, look at these roots. These are some really good healthy roots. So that is the next thing you want to look for. You want to have an idea of what the roots look like to know okay, is it time to repot this plant? Can I leave it in the nursery pot a little bit longer? How long do I think it'll last? Because I don't want it to suffer for having been root bound. So I'm gonna place this back in and continue on. So if the plant is very root bound, it's okay to want to repot, because you'll want to repot it. You'll want the roots to be able to breathe. You don't want it to be too congested in the pot for the plant, because the goal of plant care is to grow healthy and prosperous plants. And we know that, you know, plant care, there are hiccups that we have. We have busy lives. We have responsibilities. So plants, we want our plants to add to the joy and not take away from it. So even though life gets busy, like sometimes they understand and they're willing to work with us as much as we're willing to work with them. Also, once you have an idea of what the roots look like, you'll want to know that if you have to repot the plant, try to have an idea of what soil that the plant needs. So that's when keeping the plant stub is a good idea, because sometimes they'll tell you what kind of soil to use. This one doesn't tell me, but guess what? Costa Farms has a website, and the information regarding their plants is on the website. So with a calathea, I happen to know that this soil does not like to dry out, so I'm not going to use a coarser soil mix for this plant. I want to use something that this plant is going to keep the moisture pretty good, but not soak the plant or allow the roots to rot. So I want what soil is best for this plant. So if the plant is root bound, then you want to skip the next step, which is to, if it's fine and there's no issues with it, and you get a plant that doesn't have to be repotted, which is almost hardly ever the case when shopping for new plants, because a lot of times they're pretty close to being root bound when they're being sold at nurseries. But it just depends. It just depends. Like, I have this Scindapsus that is really good, and it's probably gonna be root bound in a month or so, but it's doing just fine for now. But as far as this one goes, this one definitely has to be repotted right away. If your plant is like the Scindapsus and it doesn't need anything for a while, then the fifth step is to sit back, enjoy your plant, and watch it grow. Part 2 of this video is how to repot your house plant. Be sure to watch that video, and I will see you all there. Now let's go.